Why would you do something so permanent to keep up with a trend that's not even going to last? Because there's always options. It's not like that's the only thing to do. There's another thing I want to talk about as it pertains to body dysmorphia and how I feel like social media has failed us. Filters! Once upon a time, you were ridiculed for having big lips. And now, people are faking big lips on a filter. Ain't that something? What is up, you guys? It is Ebony Ohen, also known as Glowhen. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new here, I hope you stay around for a little bit and join the Glow Gang by subscribing to my channel. And if you're a returning subscriber, welcome back, fam. So my last video, I just have to say thank you guys, because I was not expecting that much love and engagement on it. Yeah, before I uploaded that, I had like 80 something subscribers, and now we're at 216, which is insane to me. But hey, won't he do it? He said he would. Before I even uploaded that video, I kind of already had it in my mind that I was done with YouTube, and I got inspired in that moment whenever I recorded that video, because I just had so much to say on that topic. Plus, I was just very excited about the product I was reviewing, so I just kind of went with it, knowing that I already had not been consistent with weekly uploads. So I just kind of relieved myself of all that pressure to grind through YouTube and just like do it for the fun of it. And the results, the fruit of that was very, very rich. So I just want to thank you guys. If you are a new subscriber from that video, welcome. I love you. I hope you enjoy the rest of the content that I will be putting out. And yeah, just thank you for joining the ride. So today we're addressing all the beats today, between beauty standards, bonnets in public, BBLs, body dysmorphia, and all the BS that is plaguing our community right now. But in addition to that, I will be reviewing the Ami Colé collection. I have the full lineup, the lip oil, the highlighter, and the skin tint. And yeah, we're just gonna do a full face of Ami Colé and my other go-to everyday beauty products, and talking about all the BS. So stick around, stay tuned. It's about to get real. Okay, so while I prime my face, let's just go ahead and start off with this whole issue with wearing bonnets in public. So here's the thing. Here are my thoughts. And I'll start off by saying this. There is a well-known Negro proverb that goes something like this: what you eat does not make me poop. With that being said, applying that to this concept of being bothered and offended by people wearing bonnets in public, what you do is not a representation of me in my life. So that's really how I feel about that. Like, I know a lot of people were offended by Monique's commentary on it and Tiffany Haddish's cosign, but the reality is, y'all, like, everybody's values are different, you know, and everything doesn't really need to be. I just feel like people be so bothered, you know, like, even if you do share your opinion on something, if somebody does not share that same opinion as you, or if you just disagree with somebody, you don't have to let that bother you so much to the point to where you're just up at arms. Like, Monique had some really good points. Those points are her opinions based off of her values. And some people may have felt like she was contradicting herself because she was wearing like a robe in the video, and that video was posted online. But it's like, even then, it's just not that deep. Like, even for her to say what she said in her video, it wasn't that deep either. Like, but hey, she felt entitled to share her opinion because the community has esteemed her as our auntie. And what do aunties do? They tell us about ourselves. So with that being said, she felt like it was within her right to speak on us misrepresenting ourselves by wearing bonnets in public. But here's the thing. Here's how I feel about it. Actually, before I keep ranting about this, let me go ahead and show you guys this skin tint from Ami Colé. It is a skin enhancing tint. I'm using the shade Rich 2. And I'm going to start off by putting some on my hand. So I'm using about that much. And if I need more, I'll add more. But I'm going to start off with a little bit. So the way I was raised, my mom very much so cared about how we presented ourselves in public, to the point to where I actually got annoyed. And now that I'm older, of course I understand her intentions more, but like the things that she valued, I just, as a young rebellious teenager, I just did not value. For example, she emphasized, I'm definitely gonna need more because that all just blended right there, but it looks good. It looks beautiful. I'm just gonna go ahead and dot my face now, since I know. By the way, I've already used this before. I kind of already know how I feel about it, but I'm gonna go ahead and do a demonstration for you guys so y'all can see how great this product is. So yeah, some of the things my mom kind of emphasized and valued were like very, in my opinion, and even still in my opinion, superficial. Like make sure you don't leave the house without earrings because you're a woman. Make sure that you don't leave the house with your wrist naked, you know, like things like that. But I understand one of her values as a woman is presentation. And we're going to talk about how presentation in women is essentially like our currency, in the same way that a man having wealth and social status is their currency. We're going to talk about all that. As I got older, you see how beautifully that's blending? You see how much of a beautiful match that is? It is covering all the discoloration on my face. And it's still staying true to my skin. Beautiful. So yeah, my mom very much so instilled a value system surrounded around presentation for me. And I rebelled against that for a long time. I kind of just did the opposite. Not necessarily the complete opposite, but like just very non-traditional things when it came to how I wore my hair, how I wore jewelry, the kind of jewelry I wore. And I've obviously matured from that place over time as I got older and as my taste started to develop. But overall, with this whole bonnet fiasco, the initial outrage started because people, I think this photo went viral. The photo went viral of a group of women at an airport, and the whole gang was wearing bonnets, and people were just like very I guess disgusted by that. And I found the reaction, I found the outrage very interesting, because I remember a point in time when everybody was kind of on the same page about how wearing bonnets in public was tacky. But now public opinion, which I'll also talk about, has shifted to where it's like, stay out of black women's business, leave us alone. And here's the thing, just like I mentioned earlier, what somebody else does not represent me, because only I can represent me. Okay? And if you're, of course, your family is a representation of you as well, but a group of strangers at an airport does not represent me, nor does that, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it just doesn't represent me. So I feel like the outrage and even the defense of it is just, I feel like it was just very excessive. It was misplaced. And at the end of the day, bonnets serve a purpose, you know? It's a hair protected the same way a do-rag is a hair protected. I have worn my do-rag in public. I've worn it stylishly with my outfit, and I've worn it casually just for the sake of wearing a do-rag because I like wearing do-rags. Like, I like how they look on me, especially with short hair. And you know, it's just like, if they're not bothering you, why are you bothered by them? You know, it's not like, I don't know, child, because there's all types of, there's a lot surrounding the whole respectability politics of it all, right? It's like wearing your pajamas in public is a thing, and it's like, yeah, your pajamas were made to be worn in the house, obviously. It's sleepwear for the bed, but it's like, again, you don't have to be bothered by it. If you feel like it is important to show up in the world as your best self, then do that. But don't expect for everybody else to have that same value system, because they won't. And that's okay. But you keep showing up as your best self because that's what you believe is best. And if other people don't do that, that's okay. Because some people's values is to show up and be comfortable and to not care and to not be bothered by societal's expectations of how they should show up. Both are very valid. And that's all I'm going to say on that. So next, I am going to use the Ami Colé light catching highlighter. And I've kind of always been really skeptical about these kind of products because I used to think that, well, the last one I used, not this brand, but a different brand, I didn't really like how it felt like it was rubbing off my product. But this one is actually just a nice natural glow, which I love. And this is what it looks like. This is how much comes in it. It's very, yes, it's a decent amount of product. I've already used a little bit of it, so that's about how much product you're going to get with this, which goes a long way considering how balmy this is. So I mean, the way my skin is, you know, I'm gonna glow regardless, you know what I'm saying? This isn't me being boastful. This is just me literally being honest because I have oily skin. Let's see the difference that this product makes. So I'm gonna go ahead and apply that to my highlight areas. You can already see it doing something. It's just a nice skin-like glow. I like this. I like it a lot. And I think you can actually also apply this with a brush if you choose to. So I'm just going to blend that out with my finger. And I love products like this because it just makes doing your makeup so much easier, so much quicker. And if you have a day where you don't feel like doing a full face, like you could do this, do your brows, put on a lip, and be done. If you're a lash girl, you can throw some lashes on. If you're a mascara girl like me, you can put some mascara on. But this can be a full face. But of course, I'm going to do more because I'm extra. And I might be going out tonight. So, y'all, we are in an epidemic. And it is the BBL epidemic. And I cannot talk about the BBL epidemic without also talking about body dysmorphia and beauty standards. So I'm gonna try my best to be as loving and compassionate and sympathetic as I can while I talk about this, and I hope not to offend anybody, but if I do, then I guess let me know in the comments so we can talk about it more. How about that? So it has been widely discussed as of this month that BBLs are the most dangerous cosmetic procedure in the market ever, I guess. And that is due to, I'm not even going to explain all that. I'm just going to insert this video while I blend my concealer so y'all can know. And yeah, because look, listen, if y'all watched my first video, y'all know I am no doctor. I failed as a biology major, So I'm gonna go ahead and use my Better Setter spray fermented and let the professional talk about why the BBL procedure is dangerous.
Explain the danger here.
It's extraordinarily dangerous. It turns out it's the most dangerous, not only plastic surgery procedure, it's the most dangerous operation there is with the highest fatality rate. And I'll tell you why. You take fat from one part of your body, typically the abdomen, you process it, and you inject in the buttock. Sounds easy, right? The problem is there's these very small little veins in the buttock that lead directly to the vena cava, which is the major blood vessel that brings blood back from your body to your heart, to your lungs. If you get fat in those little vessels and it gets in the main vena cava and goes to your lungs, it's over. It's the most fatal operation there is. And I would advise there are other ways to get a full buttock.
As you guys just heard, it is the most dangerous procedure in the market. Not just the most dangerous cosmetic surgery, but the most dangerous procedure. And he explained why in ways that I don't feel like re-explaining, because he already explained it. It's not what I'm here for. I'm not here to talk about science. I'm here to talk about intention. So when you look at the numbers, they say that 1 in every 3,000, I believe, 1 in every 3,000 women die from the BBL procedure. And when you think about that, it doesn't sound crazy, right? But I was watching another YouTuber. Her name is Adella Afadi. Apologies if I said her name wrong. But Adella Afadi, and I'll try to link her video in the description. She gave a great illustration to this. So I'm going to kind of use that and remix it in a way that I kind of remember. So say like you're at a buffet, like I said, with 3,000 people, you and everybody else makes 3,000 people, right? You all have pre-made plates, and you are informed that one of those plates are poison. Would you still go eat at that buffet? Like, I get that your chances are like okay because there's a lot of y'all, but at the same time, would you even still take that risk, or would you go to another buffet? You know, because there's always options. It's not like that's the only thing to do. And here's the thing about the whole BBL thing. We as a society have to like take responsibility for where this trend even came from. Because like he said, like they mentioned in the video, it's not a new procedure at all, right? We know that. And this is where we go into beauty standards. Because I feel like right now, this surge of wanting a certain shape through the BBL surgery is just another extreme to what the beauty standards of like the 90s and the early 2000s were, which was the thin supermodel bodies, right? And if we know that this is a trend, then obviously within the next 9 years there's going to be a whole nother trend, a whole nother beauty standard. Why would you do something so permanent to keep up with a trend that's not even going to last? And you know, I did just say earlier, because I'm sure I'm contradicting myself a little bit, I did just say earlier that what somebody else does not represent me. So I'm not saying that, of course I'm not saying that people getting BBLs is affecting me, but I think that we should just evaluate our intentions when it comes to these type of procedures. Under my eyes, I just used my Tatcha Silk powder. There's a lot of noise going on outside. Somebody got a U-Haul, so excuse any background noise you may hear. People are moving, and I will be next month. We thank God for that. This thing with BBLs becoming popular right now, it is just the other extreme of what the supermodel 90s video vixen aesthetic was, because everybody did not fit that standard of being thin, of being tall, of having a certain hair length, a certain skin tone. And people were doing very dangerous fad diets to fit that beauty standard. And it's just one extreme to another, like literally one extreme to another. And we do have to take responsibility as a society for, one, accepting crazy and unrealistic beauty standards, 2, buying into them, and 3, not celebrating natural bodies in our own lives. How many times has your auntie or you or your uncle made a comment about a natural body? Whether they said, oh, she too skinny, she may eat something, or oh, her booty too big, she fast. There's no win. These beauty standards are so fleeting, and on top of that, the things that we praise and the things that we demonize are also fleeting. So my question is, when do we go from supermodel beauty standard to BBL beauty standard? So people equate it to like the IG baddie culture and like the Kardashian culture, but I feel like they're not looking deep enough, you know? Because where did they get the inspiration that that was the beauty standard that they needed to follow? You know? Because they did not invent those body shapes. They may have put them on a different platform, but that body shape, the invisible waist, huge hips, huge butt, huge bust, in my opinion, I could be wrong, but in my opinion and in my observation, that is directly correlated to stripper culture. Not only stripper culture, but sex work culture. Because whenever you're in that field of work, you essentially have to be a caricature of a woman in the most extreme way in order to, what's the word I'm looking for? In order to satisfy your audience, right? And that is a space where those body shapes are usually profited from, right? So I don't think we should just like say, oh, Instagram, social media made these beauty standards, when it's really not. It is, of course they magnified them for sure. The Kardashians and the IG baddies, obviously they magnified them in a certain way, but they did not invent that standard. And they're not the blueprint of it. Not only is it black women, because there are literally bodies that look like that naturally, you know? We've seen it with Meg. We've seen it with all types of different women. Like, I'm sure you got homegirls that are shaped like that. I have homegirls that are shaped like that naturally. But in the way that it has become now in the culture, it comes from a desire to be desired. It's really as simple as that. And like I mentioned earlier in the video, this is a cultural thing. This is a society flaw. As a woman, your attractiveness is your currency. Your attractiveness, your beauty is almost like a social status. I'm trying to find the words to say to describe what this is, but I think y'all know what I'm talking about. Like, the more beautiful you are in society standards, the higher your social rank can be. In the same way that as a man, the more successful you are, I'm using my out of office bronzer on my eyes, the more successful you are, the higher your social status can be. And it's just two sides of the same toxic, it's just two sides of the same toxic coin that we perpetuate as a society and that we're fed through the media. And my question is, how do we fight this? How do we dispel this? We understand the dangers of following herd mentality as it relates to beauty standards. We understand that what the world says is beautiful is not right or true. And I think it really goes down to each individual person doing the inner work. And I wanted to tell a story about a friend of mine, but it is a very sensitive story, so I'm going to respect her in her process by not sharing this story. But one thing I will say in my own personal experience is that I'm a model, okay? I have gotten paid to model. I'm not a signed model, but my goal is to work professionally as a model full-time. So if anybody understands beauty standards and the pressures to fit a certain mold and issues with body dysmorphia, it's me. And I truly do empathize with women, whether they're in this profession or not, to feel like how they are now is not enough based off of what they see represented, what they see praised. And I think part of that inner work is determining for ourselves what is it currently that helps us deem that we're valuable, right? So for me, it's all about representation. Representation in mass, large spaces, like the beauty space, like the movie space, entertainment in general. And I mentioned that in my last video about positive representation of dark-skinned women. And although my feelings about that are very valid, because we live in a time where, and we've always lived in a time, where how we're represented at large greatly affects how we're treated as individuals. So for me, and just kind of going back off of the Colin Kaepernick thing with his book cover, him using a dark-skinned woman in that way, for me, was not an accurate or a positive representation of me. And of course that might kind of contradict what I said earlier about how what you wear doesn't really represent me, but in essence, when it comes to something like that versus another black girl wearing a bonnet in public, whenever you put women in a certain, whenever you represent women in general in a certain way, and that is magnified, multiplied, all that bad stuff, that starts to program the way people see and view women, which is why a lot of body types are sexualized, which is why a lot of skin tones, darker shades, are usually demonized. We're usually seen as being rough, aggressive, strong, insensitive, and that's just the effect of it. I say all that to say, because I'm kind of ranting a little bit, I say all that to say representation for me helps validate who I am. Keyword, it helps validate who I am. It does not fully validate who I am, because I am validated by my Lord and Savior, my Creator, Jesus Christ. I think that foundation right there, sorry, I'm about to burp, so that's what I'm doing this. I feel the burp coming in. Let me drink it away. I feel like having that foundation right there, I think it just saves us, period. Because here's the thing. Transparent moment, I had a moment this week where I was just so discouraged. Like, I felt like, it's okay to be honest about these things and have these conversations with people, because in my vulnerability and in me feeling so discouraged, I was able to be lifted up by my community. Not only that, but in prayer. So I felt really discouraged because I felt like I just felt like I'm not my type's type. Meaning my type in two aspects, career and romantically. My type career-wise is to attract an agent, is to attract a modeling agency who will represent me, help me get booked, help me in this journey, right? And what I kept seeing with a specific agency that, you know, I kind of was contemplating on taking a forward step with, it would have been a huge investment, but I kind of got the confirmation that I don't need to make that investment now and to just wait, be patient, trust in the Lord with that process. I saw this agency just posting nothing but, you know, blonde, brunette, long hair, colored eyes, things that's just not me, you know? And to see something like, of course, the modeling world, the modeling space, the fashion space has made strides in their attempts of promoting diversity, but come on now, like, it's a lot of tokenization going on there, and that's a whole nother topic for a whole nother day that I don't feel like getting into because I will get pissed off. But there's a lot of tokenization in the modeling space. I don't want to be the exception. I want to be the norm. And, you know, there are a lot of models who, I use the term a lot loosely. There are models who look like me, who are doing very successful in their career. And I love, truly, truly love to see it. And I'm just trying to wait on my time patiently while trying not to be discouraged. Because earlier this week, I felt really discouraged. Like, these modeling agencies don't want me. And these black men don't want me. And here's what made me go into this spiral. I noticed an interesting pattern. I'm going to try to say this with all the love I can muster up in me. I've noticed an interesting pattern amongst my Christian brothers. I saw that they tend to, there's that verb, date, marry, and I don't want to say praise, that's not the right word. I just noticed that they tend to date and marry women. And they do this out loud. Not saying that you should hide who you love, but this is where representation comes in again. Because I love to see black women loved out loud. I love to see Christian couples represent black love in a positive way. And I'm not saying that this does not exist at all, but in the month of June, I just saw a lot of the opposite. And this is not me speaking against interracial couples. I think that who you love is who you love, and that's your business. But I just got really discouraged. I was like, bro, God, like, where are the Christian black men who love black women? Did you run out? Are you just working on them right now? Like, what's going on? So I was really discouraged. I went on a rant on my close friends on Instagram because I don't do those kind of rants for everybody because everybody can't take that. And I think part of me doing that was because I knew that, me knowing me, I know me, right? And I think it's important to know yourself. I know that what I don't, I know that anything that I keep inside is only going to get like drastically worse. So once you speak on it, once you allow yourself to like vent, you know, give yourself that time to really express what it is that's causing a burden in your life, you're able to assess it and let it go. So I went on a rant about how I'm not my type's type. And then, not too long after, maybe like a day or so after, I post a selfie on Twitter just because I know I'm beautiful and I could do that. It wasn't necessarily for attention. It was just like literally like the caption said, media update. Because as y'all can see, I've been changing my hair all summer. And it was a beautiful picture. Like, I felt really beautiful that day. And then I realized, oh, based off of certain responses I got, I actually am my type's type. I was literally just tripping. And this is where I have to hold myself accountable. Because just because I'm seeing one thing in the media does not make that reality. And I was just listening to a sermon today from Transformation Church. He made a point that our emotions are very real. Our emotions are real, but our reality sometimes is not. I say that to say, me feeling like I'm not my type's type, that was a very real emotion in that moment when it comes to the modeling space and the romantic space. However, me feeling that does not make that reality. To tie it all together, as I apply this lip oil, because my lips is looking like they need some help, and I'm gonna do my eyebrows last. This is the Ami Colé lip treatment oil. It's a beautiful neutral shade. And I'm just gonna wear it by itself so y'all can see what it looks like by itself on some pigmented lips, because I got reformed smoker lips. And by the way, do y'all want a sobriety update video? Let me know in the comments, because my 1 year, by God's grace, I make it to 1 year. My 1 year sobriety anniversary is coming up. And I kind of want to talk about that journey. So if that's something y'all are interested in hearing, let me know. If not, I'll just write about it. But yeah, beautiful gloss. Gorgeous. Smells really good too. It smells really good. Okay, so where was I? Oh yeah, emotions and reality. Okay, here we go. So with that being said, when it comes to these beauty standards, when it comes to body dysmorphia, and there's another thing, before I even get to that last point, there's another thing I want to talk about as it pertains to body dysmorphia and how I feel like social media has failed us. Filters! If you follow me on Instagram, if you don't, follow me now at Glowhen, GL0HEN. The way Snapchat did filters versus the way Instagram is doing filters are two very different extremes. So with Snapchat filters, we have like the dog ears, the flower crown, and the hearts and stuff like that, the butterflies. And with Instagram, there are filters that literally morph your face. Like, not just put some lashes on, but they will like contour your nose, blur your skin, make your lips look fuller in a very weird, awkward way. And a pattern that I'm noticing is amongst the women that I follow, the women that I am exposed to through social media, there's a pattern of having to use a filter anytime you expose your face. Anytime you take a selfie, even if you're just talking to your story, it's like you gotta slap a filter on. And I think that we should address that as body dysmorphia as well, because like, I know y'all be seeing how them filters be glitching, right? It's not just me who sees that. So if you're just like I think we just need to evaluate the intention with everything. Like, why do you feel the need to use a filter every time you show your face on your story? And if you follow me on Instagram, you will see that that's something that I have been speaking about vocally, heavily, regularly. I'm not just speaking on it for the sake of feeling like they're misrepresenting women when they do that. No, because it's not about that. I just want my sisters to release themselves from the shackles of feeling like they have to do that. Sis, you're literally already beautiful. And I get that there are some filters that are just for aesthetic, and I love and enjoy those filters just as much as the next girl. But those filters that like change the whole shape and chemistry of your face, once you get so used to seeing that and accepting that as this is how I look at my best, what does that mean for you whenever you go out into the world in public and you can't have a filter on? You know, how do you feel about yourself then? How are you able to affirm yourself and your beauty then? So I think we just need to be cautious of how we engage with social media filters and really acknowledge that for what it is. It is another aspect of body dysmorphia. And I think that Lord help us. Lord, just help us. Ironically enough, those same filters are perpetuating a beauty standard that is fleeting. It is still a fleeting beauty standard because once upon a time, you were ridiculed for having big lips. And now, people are faking big lips on a filter. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? There's a few things I think we should all just recognize. These beauty standards are as fleeting as the seasons, child. They're always changing. They're always going to change. I think we need to recognize in what ways that we feed into them. I think we need to acknowledge the things that we feel validated by, whether it be positive representation or positive affirmation from your peers. I think it's important to recognize that because you'll be able to better gauge where your decision making comes from as it pertains to beauty. And for me, in my reflection, because as y'all can see, I shaved my hair recently. I shaved it all off and it's starting to grow back a little bit, but I used to have a very strong insecurity surrounding hair, partially because what I was shown to be beautiful was long hair. So throughout my teenage years and childhood, I usually always wore long braids or long weaves. And as I got older and began to learn to love my natural hair, I dealt with a lot of comparison surrounding that. Even though I was growing to love my natural hair, have fun with it, enjoy like the beauty of my texture, I still felt like I needed to catch up to what I was shown to be the most beautiful in a black woman, which is huge afro or very long hair. You know, I always wanted to start over. Like I always wanted to just like shave all my hair off, because here's the thing. Even though I had a hard time accepting myself and how I was made, I still was always able to acknowledge my beauty. I was always able to acknowledge the uniqueness of my features. And there was a part of me, there was this little part of me that always wanted to just try something new, try something bold. And that's where I first cut my hair in 2017, or was it 18? That's when I first cut my hair. I loved it. I loved having a short haircut. And I would just do like really low fades and stuff like that. And then I was pressured to grow my hair back out, because that was what was deemed by my mother to be the most beautiful. So I started to grow my hair out. Wasn't happiest with just the maintenance of natural hair. Not that I still did not enjoy it. My wash days were very sacred. It is fun. But me, my personality, I loved, still love the liberty of just waking up, going about my day. And that was a luxury that having braids would afford me. So once my hair grew to a certain length, I got braids again, because that's what I was used to, that's what I was accustomed to, that's what I always loved. And that's what I felt like always looked best on me. But after having short hair, something about having braids just felt way too heavy for me. And, you know, I had a couple of braid styles, maybe like 2, 3, or 4, before I realized, like, y'all, I don't like having all this hair on my head. I really don't. So I cut my hair off again.
Watch me transform.
You know, I unlocked my beauty in a whole nother way. And that's whenever I decided, you know what, since I have made the decision to keep my hair short, because that's how I feel, that's how I feel the most beautiful, that's how I feel the most authentic, let me try color now, because that's something I always wanted to try as well. Tried color. And fell in love with the blonde. Loved the platinum. That was the vibe for me, right? Then I got a booking that I'll be able to share later on in the fall. I got a booking, the biggest booking I've ever gotten, the most paid booking I've ever gotten, as a model. And that booking came from my willingness to dye my hair. Not only that, but in how I represented myself as a woman in my truest form. So I got that booking, hence me becoming a redhead for a very short period of time. And I liked the red. The red was a vibe. I didn't love the red, but I liked it. It was different. And as I was washing my hair went from red to hot pink to like a bubblegum pink. And my platinum edges were starting to come out. And on top of that, my hair had gotten too long for me. Okay? I just had too much hair on my head. And I wanted to cut my hair again. So the first time I cut my hair, I still had patches of like pink and blonde mixed in with my natural hair color. And I had already said like months ago, like when I first cut my hair again, I had already told, I'm not wearing any mascara. I'm over here blabbing and I did not finish my face. I'm going to use the Essence Lash Princess as I finish the story. Yeah, when I first cut my hair again, I had already let my mom know, like, one of these days, I want to go bald. And she was like, Ebony, don't do that. I was like, Mommy, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to do it. It might not be this year, but I will do it in the summertime. Because when I first cut my hair, it was January of, I think, 2018. And I regretted it only because I was so cold. I loved the look, but I was freezing. So I told myself, whenever I do decide to go bald, I'm going to do it in the summertime. So once I cut my hair from the color, because I was over although the pink and stuff was a vibe, I was over it because I needed my hair to be shorter. Like, I needed my hair to be shorter and I needed my hair color to be consistent because it wasn't consistent. Like, I had blonde edges, and if I have a picture, I'll post it right here. So when I cut my hair lower, I was like, let me get a buzz cut, bro. I got a buzz cut and my hair color wasn't even. So I said, it's time. I cut my hair bald and I was like,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Wow, I really did it. And I loved it. And it looked beautiful. And it showed me in a whole nother way. In a way that I needed to see because of my personal journey as a woman who was plagued by comparison as it relates to my hair. That my beauty is not defined by my hair. If anything, in some cases, in my opinion, for me, a lot of hair gets in the way of my beauty being seen. it gets in the way of my beauty for me being felt, because when it came to me getting braids again, it started to feel heavy. It started to provide this weight that I never experienced before cutting my hair off in 2018. So when I shaved it all off, I was like, yeah, I'm that girl. And this isn't me saying I'm that girl in comparison to other women. No, I'm that girl in comparison to the best version of myself that I've been trying to unlock. And I found her. Look, listen. It does not matter what society tries to tell me. It does not even matter what my emotions try to tell me. Because my emotions will try to trick me into thinking that, okay, yeah, you're beautiful and all, but you're not your type, so you're still not there yet. But look, I have arrived, baby. I'm here. And I think it's important for us to gas ourselves based off of what we see about ourselves, not based off of drink break, not based off of what society deems as beautiful, because that's fleeting. Even me being bald was kind of fleeting, you know, because I'm not skin bald like I was last week. But this look and how I feel right now and what I know to be true about myself, and that's what's most important, to know what's true about yourself. I know that in order for me to experience the joy and confidence that I want to experience, I have to create that within myself. And I have to have a firm foundation that's not based off something so fleeting. And you know what my foundation is? Psalms 139, 13 through 14. That I was knit together in my mother's womb. That God knew me before anybody knew me. And that I am fearfully and wonderfully made. That is my foundation. Everything starts from there. So yeah, insecurities and these thoughts might come in every now and again because I'm human, but I can always reaffirm myself. I am beautiful. I am beautifully unique. I am wonderfully made. And nothing can take that from me. And I wish that same truth and knowledge will seep into you watching this right now. Because there are so many women and even men dealing with body dysmorphia, dealing with societal pressures and standards, and I think we need to know what's valuable to us and why. So for me, how I present myself to the world is valuable to me, because when I look good, I feel good. And me looking good does not always mean being done up, wearing some super uncomfortable outfit, because for me, comfort is king as well, okay? I am the queen of comfort. So when I look good, I feel good. And when I'm comfortable, I feel even better. I know when it comes to fashion and stuff like that, people feel like comfort is like not important, and I don't agree with that. I don't subscribe to that. I get when it's necessary, like Met Gala and stuff like that, but I like to be comfortable. I like to wear clothes that are comfortable. I like to wear clothes that fit me properly. I don't like clothes that make me feel exposed to the point to where I have to like walk around like this or constantly pulling stuff down. And you know, I've put myself through those situations before, but it's like, I'd rather just be comfortable. And that does not mean going around wearing baggy pants. Not baggy pants. That doesn't mean going around in my pajamas all day because I want to be comfortable. Like, no, I just buy clothes that are comfortable. I buy clothes that I could wear outside that are comfortable, that feel good on my body, whether they're form-fitting or slightly loose or very baggy. I have outside clothes and I have pajamas that I wear in the house only. I care about comfortability. I care about presentation for my reason. Everybody's values are different, and I am okay with that because that's your business. It's not my business. It's not my business. So yeah, like I said, we need to acknowledge, for one, this whole epidemic of BBLs, it did not come out of nowhere. It comes from a society that shows us that a woman's worth is based off of her desirability and her beauty. And these standards of beauty change all the time. And because they change all the time, I just want to suggest to anybody who might be considering this procedure, ask yourself why. Because I have known women to make certain enhancements, not because they feel like it will make them feel better about themselves, but it is directly related to wanting attention and wanting to be more desirable to men or whomever you desire. This is a very real thing, and I think we would be doing, I feel like I would be doing a disservice to this platform if I did not acknowledge that. Because as women, we like to say that we don't do things for men, right? We don't do things or wear things to be desired by men, right? There are cases where that is very much so the case. And we can't act like those women don't exist. And we can't act like we have not been those women before. So, if you plan on getting a very permanent, very dangerous, something that is known and said to be dangerous, if you plan on getting this procedure with the intention of being more desirable, I want to just suggest that it's not worth it. That this standard of beauty is not going to be around as long as you think, and that you will be stuck making a very permanent decision for a very fleeting feeling that is not reality. I have an acquaintance who recently said that her aunt died from a BBL surgery. The mortality rate of this surgery is real. It's not a joke. It's not to be taken lightly. Sis, is just not worth it. It's really not worth it. It's not worth it. It's just another extreme to what was once fad diets and what led to a lot of eating disorders when it came to the supermodel aesthetic being the beauty standard. And another extreme, gym rat culture, which I'm not going to talk too much about, because there's a difference between people who love working out and gym rat culture, because excessive bodybuilding is not healthy or natural either. But what matters is how you feel about yourself. What matters is how you affirm yourself and where you place your values on your desirability. Do you equate your desirability based off of what you see in the media, or is it based off of what God's word says about you? Which one holds the most weight? You know, because like I mentioned earlier, representation matters to me, but God's word is my foundation. So I see my battery flickering. I'm gonna wrap this video up right now. This, great, love it. I'm gonna do a wear test today because I'm going outside, and I'll let y'all know how my face is looking at the end of the day. Let me go ahead and spray. That's it, y'all. Stay beautiful, stay yourselves. I'm gonna check back in at the end of the night for a wear test, and I'll see y'all later. What's up, Glow Gang? It is now 12:31 a.m. I finished my makeup at like 4:30-ish. I headed to an exhibit in Houston called From Houston with Love. Spent some time out there, sweated a little bit, came home, watched the BET Awards, and now I'm here. And as you can see, this is how the makeup held up. I have not touched up anything. I reapplied the lip oil earlier today, and that was only because I had a drink and I felt like my lips weren't as popping anymore, but I have not reapplied it since then, and that was like around 6. So as you can see, everything is looking very skin-like, very natural, very glowy, very dewy. So my final thoughts, it is a 10 out of 10 for me, honestly. It looks like my skin. And actually, one thing I noticed and realized after I left the house is that I didn't set my whole face with powder like I usually do. So this is what the skin is looking like. This is what the face is looking like. It's literally just looking like my skin. And that's why I appreciate brands like Ami Colé. And if you have not heard about this brand before, it is a clean beauty brand made to celebrate melanin rich skin. So of course, once I saw that mission, I had to have it. And I'm very pleased with this purchase. I would recommend it for everybody. everybody because they have a range of colors. And one thing I love so much is that they start on the dark shades. They start from rich to, I think, deep to medium and light, something like that. I don't know, but all I know is that rich is at the beginning of the spectrum. And those little things, y'all, it's the little things and the joy they bring, just like Auntie Indiari said. So yeah, that is all for today's video. I hope you guys have enjoyed this discussion. Yeah, let me know how you feel about all the BS in the comments that we have been, I guess, dealing with as a society. I'm gonna go ahead and wash my face, call it a night, because I have work in the morning and it is late, but I bet I'll still wake up at 6 a.m. like I always do. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.